Hello and welcome to my channel. My last garden video seemed to have piqued an interest in you, and I figured that it had something to do with the greenhouse build. So in this video I'm gonna explain some more about the build and give you some more footage of the greenhouse. First, you're just watching me transplant the chili peppers we put in the ground. I think it was in the last video. I'm just putting it some mixture of cow fertilizer and some planting soil. As you see here, I'm planting it a little bit deeper to get a more stable plant and a little shorter plant. All my chilies sprouted very well, and unfortunately I don't have space for all these seedlings, so some of them will have to go to the compost. Well, now let's go on to why you clicked on this video. We chose a Willab Garden greenhouse because they had very good recommendations. I have seen several of these at my friends, and it is a very popular brand or company here in Sweden, at least. They have very stable and sturdy greenhouses that are matching to our climate, with snow and frost and low temperatures and wind and so on. Since this greenhouse is made out of an aluminum frame and safety glass, it's more expensive than, for example, a polytunnel. We paid about 40,000 Swedish kronor for just the greenhouse, but for the entire build with the wall and the foundation, it came to about 80,000 Swedish kronor. That is about 3,700 euros, or for the total build about 7,000 euro. We chose a green color and a brick wall, not just for the aesthetics, but also because it keeps the greenhouse a little bit warmer during the night. The foundation for the greenhouse we had help to build. It consists of sand, very packed sand, and then packed gravel. When it was level, they poured a concrete foundation as a base for the brick walls. Instead of pouring a concrete plate, we kept the gravel inside, which provides good drainage. The bricks are from Denmark and they're called pastorale. They have an old or a rustic appearance, even though they're new. Before we started to assemble the greenhouse, we put tar paper on the brick wall to get a little bit of protection from water. The build started with fastening the lower profiles onto the brick wall. That was made with very long screws that are made for bricks or concrete. You had to make sure that every angle was right and cross-measured many times before you fasten the lower profile to the brick wall. This was a little bit tricky and it took us some time to get it right, but it is essential for the whole greenhouse build, and eventually to get the glasses in to the frame it had to be exact angle. The build continued with the profiles around the greenhouse, and then we went on to the trickiest part, and that was to fit the doors. If you're an amateur like me, doors are always the trickiest part of any build. To get the frame and the door hanging right, we never got this perfect, but it's good enough for us. On top of the gravel inside, we put some nicer stones or nicer gravel. In Sweden they're called sea gravel, and or sea stones, and they have different colors. And we also put in some step stones. It's a little bit nicer to step on with your bare feet, and it's easier to put your chairs and table on. After we fitted the doors, it was more of a smooth sailing experience. It was just to read the instructions, put it up frame by frame, and eventually fitting the glass. The glass is held in place by a rubber strip or rubber molding. I don't know what it's called in English. The rubber was very easy to fit. It was just to push or press on and cut it to the right length. As I said before, the glass is a safety glass and it's made to withhold pressures from snow and wind. I think it's a beautiful greenhouse. I'm very happy with the color, the brick wall, the space, and the function. And it has stood here for a couple of years now, and it's very sturdy. So I'm very happy or pleased with it. If I were to change one thing, it is to not put both the openings in the roof on the same side. The ventilation might have been better if I put one on each side. The only thing that we have had trouble with is a little bit of water or moist in the corners, as you can see when we move around. My guess is that melted frost or melted snow drips down inside of the profiles in the corners and drip down on the brick wall. This is just a trouble or problem in the wintertime. In spring, this problem is gone. As I said before, we had help with building the foundation and the brick wall. Of course, if you have knowledge, you can do that yourself, but we didn't want to take the risk with just such an expensive greenhouse. But if you do it yourself, of course, this could be a cheaper greenhouse build. My take-home message is to plan ahead, make sure you have a lot of time. that you have the right tools, that you measure your angle many times. A pro tip is to not fasten the frame bolts around the windows, because you need a little bit of wiggle room when you fit the windows. It helps if you're 2 people. It's not impossible to build this by yourself, but it's gonna be a lot harder. And lastly, I just want to tell you to have fun, and I promise you will appreciate this greenhouse so much more if you were at least a part of the build. I think that's it for today. I hope I have explained some more about the greenhouse. If you want to see more pictures from the greenhouse and the greenhouse built, you can watch my January garden video. Now I'm off to plant some okra and some root celery, we call it in Swedish. I don't know if that's the name in English, but that is what I'm off to do. So have a nice day, evening or morning, or whenever you watch this, and I'll see you next time.